You know, my grandfather used to actually do news at noon.
Really? No way.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Our old friend Kim Jong-un is back at it again with
North Korea
having tested a barrage of missiles these past few days, with confirmation that these were actually practice missiles. Whew, thank God. They were just practice missiles and not actually meant to mercilessly strike. Never mind. Yes, it's true that North Korea has indeed been simulating attacks on South Korea and the US while also increasing its leverage in regards to their nuclear arsenal, with tests involving ballistic missiles, a few of which fell into the ocean near Ulsan, one of South Korea's coastal cities. This is terrifying news, as many of these tests have actually triggered evacuation alerts in both Japan and South Korean areas, causing concern over North Korea's potential capabilities. Now, one question you may ask yourself is, why? Why now of all times? Well, sources indicate that these recent tests are actually Kim's way of protesting against Vigilant Storm, a massive US-South Korean Air Force drill that was viewed by the dictator as invasion rehearsal. And where's Seth Rogen and James Franco when you need them? Democrats in Pennsylvania are demanding that ballots submitted undated or with incorrect dates be counted for this year's midterm. Pennsylvania is considered one of the battleground states in this election, and very well could turn the tide in favor of the Democrats, at least for the Senate. Yes, indeed, John Fetterman, Democratic nominee for Pennsylvania Senate, insists that requiring the date to be correct on the ballot would be a violation of Civil Rights Act of 1964, stating that the date serves no purpose other than to erect barriers to qualified voters exercising their fundamental right to vote. Now listen, we've all been there. The teacher makes it very clear to the whole class before a big test that you will fail if you do not put your name and the date correctly at the top. And let me tell you, man, do I wish my teacher was as forgiving as John Fetterman is. This week, Ted Cruz is under fire by a beer can. I mean, it was only a matter of time, but yeah. Texas Senator Ted Cruz got utterly annihilated, not to mention owned, by delicious cold brew during the Houston Astros World Series parade. Upon further inspection into the matter, it was actually found that he was hit by a White Claw, of all things. That's what I call a hard seltzer. The United Nations just held this year's COP27 climate negotiations, where 44,000 people attended, and the majority of which, I'm assuming, came in private jets. At this meeting, they discussed exactly how to get us, you and me, out of the mess that we, you and me again, created. With expectations for the world population to reach 8 billion very, very soon, the UN plans to implement a system that will warn you, yes you, no matter where you are or where you live, about any hazardous climate events. It's called Early Warning for All, and it aims to warn people around the world about climate hazards such as extreme storms or floods. Such a system will come with a price though, with a plan calling for $3.1 billion over the course of the next 5 years, focusing primarily on underdeveloped countries at first and then moving on to more developed countries. Other ideas thrown around include world leaders promising to save forests, again, and calling out wealthy countries for not doing their part, again. Can't wait for what they'll come up with next year in Dubai. In other news, you're not allowed to lick psychedelic toads. This is literally like the book 1984 by George Orwell's. The National Park Service of Sonora Desert has warned its visitors that they are strictly prohibited from kissing the Sonoran Desert toad on its oh-so-plump lips. This species of toad is among the largest found in North America and secretes a hyperpotent toxin that is said to give euphoric and hallucinogenic effects. The toxin it secretes, bufotenin, is illegal in California, but totally legal in Arizona. Beware the hypnotoad. Speaking of not being allowed to do anything, you're not allowed to amputate a person's foot and keep it as a trophy piece. Wild, right? A former, thank God, Wisconsin nurse has been accused of removing a dying patient's foot from their body after it had seized due to prior frostbite. Mary Kay Brown, who was put in charge of taking care of an elderly man, would be the first to be questioned when a medical examiner noticed that the patient's foot was gone. In complaints that followed, it was noted by several nurses that Brown had actually intended to retrofit the foot into a display that read, "Wear your boots, kids." Truly terrible. I'm sure it would have made a killing on OnlyFans. Man, oh man, I'm tired. I've got to go take my iconic afternoon nap. Could you guys please do me the favor of liking, commenting, and subscribing before I go to bed? Yeah, alright, cool.